I'm like, oh my god.
What's up guys, my name is Tiffany and welcome to Imperfectly Tiff. I know this is probably your first time on this channel, so just a background, this is going to be a super casual lifestyle channel and most of the videos are going to be focused on food, fashion, and DIYs. So if you're interested, make sure you go ahead and click the subscription button, and if you never want to miss a video, go ahead and tap that notification bell. So this video is gonna kind of be a crossover between a DIY and a fashion video. I'm gonna be showing you how to make this super cute Adidas two-piece set from an old pair of track pants that I got from the thrift store. This DIY is super cheap, super simple, and super on trend. Literally, two-piece sets are taking over the internet. You can find them on every site from Fashion Nova to Pretty Little Thing to literally every other Instagram thought boutique out there. But I just wanted to show you guys how I made this set. It's super easy, and I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. So if you're interested, just keep watching this video and I hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so before we get started, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need a sewing machine, some scissors, some thread, straight pins, and this is optional, but you could also use an iron and some fabric chalk. Alright, so first things first, you're going to measure the length that you want your shorts. I'm using another pair of shorts to measure this. If you don't have another pair of shorts, you could just try on your pants, mark how long you want them to be, and then cut. Make sure when you're cutting, you leave about an extra inch of fabric, and this is going to be our seam allowance for when we start sewing our hem. So once you've cut that extra flat fabric, you're going to actually flip your pants inside out. And then this next step is optional, but I'm gonna take my iron and I'm just gonna iron down that hem. So I folded up the bottom of the pants about an inch, and then I'm just gonna use my iron to iron it down. You don't have to do this, but I just think that it helps get my hem a lot flatter. And then I'm just gonna start pinning all the way around that hem. The reason why I'm pinning it down is because when we start sewing, it's just going to help us keep a very straight hemline. So I'm just pinning all the way around the leg. And then once I pin all the way around this leg, I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other leg. And then once you've pinned both your legs, you're just going to go over to your sewing machine and just sew all the way around your legs to create your hem. I'm just using a straight stitch. Make sure that when you're sewing, when you start your straight stitch, you double back at the beginning. And then once you're finishing your straight stitch, you double back at the end. This is just going to keep your hem from unraveling when you wash your pants later. And I'm just doing a simple straight stitch all the way around. Once I finish that stitch, I'm just going to go in with my scissors and cut off any extra thread. And this is how it should look when you're done. It looks really nice and clean and really professional. So now that our pants are hemmed and finished, we're going to set those to the side and start working on the top. This is me just straightening everything out and trying to figure out how exactly I want to make this top. So I decided to grab one of the legs and fold it in half directly on the middle stripe of the pants. And the reason why I did this is because you'll see in a second, but folding it this way leaves about an extra 1/4 inch of fabric on the other side. The reason why there's that extra 1/4 inch is because pants are never made 100% symmetrical, because there's always extra fabric in the back to account for, you know, your butt and your thighs. So I'm just cutting, making sure to leave that extra 1/4 inch because this is going to be our seam allowance for when we're connecting the other stripe to this side to make our top. And then now that that's cut, you're going to move that off to the side and we're going to cut our second panel for our top. So I'm just cutting about an inch away from the last stripe on the other side. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, once again, just like the other panel, this is going to be our seam allowance for connecting our top and having the 3 stripes on each side of our top. And now that you have both of those panels cut, you're gonna set both of your pieces on top of each other, wrong sides facing out, and you're just gonna make sure you line up that bottom hem as evenly as possible so that we have a really nice, even symmetrical top. And then you're just gonna pin it together at that extra seam allowance that we left when we were cutting. Once you've pinned it together at the seam allowance, you're just gonna go over to your sewing machine and sew this seam together, as making sure that you stay as close to the 3 stripes as possible, so that when you flip it back around right sides out, it looks really seamless and you won't even be able to tell that you sewed 2 pant legs together. And so this is the product after I sewed it both together. I have one nice big seamless piece, and now I'm just folding this over itself, lining it up, making sure that it's really even, because now we're gonna cut it to the length that we want our crop top to be. And once you've made sure that you folded it and everything is nice and even, you're just going to take a crop top that you like the length of and use this kind of as a guide to decide how long you want this crop top to be. Make sure that you cut a little bit longer than you actually wanted so that you account for seam allowance so that we can hem it and have a nice even hem. Also, if you're using a stretchy crop top like I did, you might want to add an extra inch or 2. I forgot to do this, and my crop top just ended up being just slightly shorter than I wanted it to be, but it still turned out really cute. So now that I've cut my top to the length that I want it to be, I'm just going back in with those same straight pins that I used earlier, and I'm folding up the raw edge about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and then I'm just pinning it down. This is gonna be our hem, and we're gonna sew this just like we did our pants earlier. This is a point where you can pull back out the iron like I did earlier and just iron it down to get a flatter, kind of straighter hem. I just didn't feel like pulling my iron back out, so I'm just folding it and pinning it here. Once we have it all pinned, we're going to take it over to our sewing machine and just sew a straight stitch all the way across this hem, just like we did for our pants earlier. So I didn't realize this until I started editing, but I forgot to actually film myself hemming this, but it's literally just the same straight stitch that we used on our pants earlier, and the finished product looks like this. It looks really nice and clean and professional. Then you're just going to take that same crop top you used earlier, but don't cut yet. The reason why you don't want to cut it the same length is because the crop top that I used is stretchy, and the pants material is not very stretchy. So you want to kind of use it as sort of a guide, but you want to make sure that you add an extra couple of inches to the length of the crop top so that when you sew it, you could actually get it on. If you don't add this extra length, your crop top is going to be too tight and it's not going to fit. Also, when you're cutting, you want to make sure you take into account your seam allowance because we do have to sew this together. So once you have it cut the right length, you're just going to take it over to your sewing machine and sew another straight stitch all the way down, making sure to double back at the beginning and at the end of this so that it doesn't unravel in the wash. And that's pretty much it. Your 2-piece set is done and you're ready to rock it out. I think that this tutorial was super easy and super fun to do. So let's check out the final result. I can't even tell you guys how much I love how this set came out. I even love that you can mix and match it and have different looks for different occasions. I've worn this so many times already. I really hope you liked it. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Traffic, looking for my chapstick. Big star Patrick, haircut look like Brad Pitt. 5-star hotel, doorman look like Braxton. Fancy carpet.
I hate this channel.
No!